Blog Talk Radio.
Following ingredients include a look behind the scenes. Cook uncovered until hot. Add grooves to taste.
I would like, if I may, to take you on a strange journey.
Once upon a time, there was a little girl.
The accident was over a year ago. A second woman has been elected president. The 12th planet has been named in the solar system. The last wild polar bear has died. I slept through it all. I was here for my waking. He called it a beginning. He said it was good. I think he may have thought that anything I did was good.
Welcome to Transition Radio, live from Hollywood, Florida, with your host and hostess, Mark Angelo and Jessica Lynn Cummings. Show for trans folks, by trans folks, here to let your voice be heard. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Transition Radio Live from Wilton Manors. And we're so very happy you were able to join us tonight. Tonight we have two amazing guests, Alana, Nichole, Sholar, and her lovely wife, Bob Thompson. But before we bring our guests in, we want to thank our sponsors,
thepressformstore.com. They have everything you could possibly need for your transgender or cross-dressing needs. Visit their website and tell them Transition Radio sent you. We are giving away a pair of gold seal breast forms, compliments of thepressformstore.com.
Send us an essay or short video, not to exceed 4 minutes, telling us why you should be the winner of these girls. And that should be sent to transitionradioshow@gmail.com. Again, transitionradioshow@gmail.com. Hung in the Middle, A Journey of Gender Discovery, is a memoir by Kentucky transgender author Alana Nichole Sholar. Published by EWH Press, released in May 2012. Alana Nichole, a storyteller in the rich tradition of the rural Midwest. She pulls no punches as she shares a very frank and honest portrayal of her bittersweet journey of struggle with gender identity, sexuality, self-acceptance, and love.
We each face life's challenges. Although the challenges may differ, Alana's story is a wonderfully uplifting and encouraging resource for anyone traveling their own personal journey of self-discovery. Hung in the Middle is so much more than just a story of gender discovery, which is powerful in and of itself. It is also one of those familiar yet always irresistible stories about falling in love with someone inaccessible, but never giving up.
Well, tonight, we not only have Alana, but also her lovely wife, Bobby, who has been a rock and is supportive of her transition. So welcome to our show, these lovely ladies, Alana and Bobby.
Hey, how you doing, Mark? Angela?
Hey. We're doing
Mark.
wonderful. We're so very glad you're able to join.
Can you hear us okay?
Yeah.
Well,
Are you okay?
You guys aren't on speaker, are you?
yeah, do I have to turn speaker off?
Yeah, or you're going to have to try to speak one at a time, because if everybody speaks together, the problem is it's going to backbeat. So it sounds like when one person's talking, it comes through clearly. Okay, can you hear us? Let's try this again.
Oh.
Uh-oh, did we lose you? Oh, no, we lost our guest. Apparently they got disconnected. Okay, so
guys, call us back, 646-716-6895. Again, we're waiting for
Alana and Bobby.
But in the meantime, here we go.
Okay.
We got him back. Let's see here. Are you there?
Yeah, We lost you for a second.
All right, Mark, we're with you.
Okay, good. It's like much better. There's always a technical difficulty every now and then.
That's it, the potential communication breakdown.
So we're very glad you guys are able to join us tonight, and we've set up several questions to have the listeners get to know a little bit about you and Bobby. So tell us, what inspired you to write your book?
Well, I've been called a storyteller for many a year because which tends to run in our family. And a lot of people like the childhood stories and our teenage years, and a lot of people thought the book, if I did write it, would be about that. But I never felt comfortable about writing the book because I knew I had a secret. And so it wasn't until after I came out about being transgendered and actually lost my job when the factory I worked at closed. And at that point it was the right time, a good time, and so I sat down and started writing. And so it was just a lot of people, over the years wanting to hear the stories.
Excellent. That's amazing. And how long did it take you to write the book?
It took us about 3 years. It took us about 3 years, me getting the memories down because, of course, I wanted all the information to be as correct as possible and everything. So, we created the timeline so we could better follow my life as it happened and everything. So, it took quite a while just to go back through all the memories, starting when I was 8 years old and bring it forward to the War Hung in the Middle finally ends in the book. And so it took about 3 years to get it all done.
I'd like to comment on that.
And Bobby wants to comment here.
Go ahead, Bobby.
Mark, we're having to switch the phone back and forth here. So on the writing of the book, Alana would sit down and write these memories, and as they would come out in all sorts of forms. So when I would read them, I would say, okay, didn't this particular story happen at this time? So we wound up, I took an Excel spreadsheet and wrote down the date of the stories, and then sorted that by date, and then that's how the book got in chronological order. And that entire process was just very time-consuming, of course.
Definitely. Being an author myself, definitely I know how that goes.
Well, Bobby, I have a question for you.
Okay.
What was your reaction? What was your reaction when Alana first confessed that she was transgender?
Well, let me give you a little bit of background on that, and I'll use Alan because it was Alan that I had known for approximately 25 years at that time, and Alan and I had an affair years ago, so all I perceived and saw was this masculine aggressive because our relationship had always been sexual, so that's what it was to me. It was very masculine. And then I started hearing rumors once Alan and I had been away from each other about 6 or 7 years. And I would see Alan out and about and talk to him, and he would never mention Alana to me. So, and I wasn't about to mention it to him. So then the first day that I saw Alana, I had gone over to pick up Alan to go shopping, and Alana came bounding out the front door, almost skipping. And, it's always about yourself. So my thoughts were, oh, my God, how am I supposed to go shopping with this freakazoid? And it was just so unnerving to me. And Alana flirted with me that day. And I told her, I said, you don't even go there. You've already got a strike against you by even being here because you're taking Alan away from me, and Alan is who my relationship with. So I didn't start out with Alana very well at all. And then 2 years later we got married. If anybody had said to me that day, you're going to marry this person, and of course that's what it took, was my transitioning of understanding that the person is always the person, and the only thing that changed was a name. And I've never changed my first name, but I've changed my last name several times. So a name change is no big deal.
She kind of grew on you. But a lot of people don't
Yes.
understand, you're not transitioning yourself. You're bringing other people with you during this transition, and it's hard. It's like killing a person that you love and knew for so many years and then introducing someone else. So it takes time, and that's very understandable.
Right.
Well,
and it takes
one thing that I have seen others refer to is like the death of one person and the rebirth of another person. I don't see that myself. I see the evolution of the person. If I, within me, thought that anything about this person had, quote-unquote, died, that would tear me up. But I see the evolution of the person. It's not a different person. I know it's the same person. As a matter of fact, I think the thing that started my transition of understanding was when I definitely saw Alana one day where I had been seeing Alan, and I was kind of apprehensive to get close to Alana. And she said, "Honey, these are the same arms that have always held you. These are the same lips that have always kissed you. I've got the same level of education I've always had, and I can still change the tires on your car." I think it was the tires thing that got me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
whoa, bonus.
Yeah, right. But it's an amazing journey either way, and the reason I mentioned that it's a death to some people because in their eyes they see that, and it doesn't have to be that way because, again, we are the same individual, I think, with a bonus because now we're in tune with both our energies. I have a question for Alana, so I don't know if you guys are switching back and forth, but...
Oh, yeah, I've got you.
Okay. Alana, what was the hardest thing about your transition?
Well, I hope Jessica will agree with this, but finding shoes that fit.
Yes, I can agree with that.
No, really, like a lot of people, it was just, fear of what would my family think, and the public. I live in a small town, and news travels fast around this place, and so it's just really just scared as far as what people would say or think, but I never was afraid that somebody would try to hurt me because our town really isn't like that. I might get a turned up nose or something, but it was just really the whole thing turned out that the fears was for nothing because I've really been accepted by my family and people here in town. Of course, a lot of them's read the book, so it just. My fears were for nothing in the end, but that was my biggest fear, is just what people would think.
Yeah, and I can understand that. It's a very scary, or it can be a scary type of situation at one point.
I have a question from a guest in the chat room, Alana, for you. They're asking, please, hold on one second. How has the publication of Hung in the Middle changed your life?
How did Hung in the Middle change my life?
Yeah, how did the publication of the book Hung in the Middle change your life? How has it changed your life?
Well, believe it or not, writing the book made me spiral into depression because of having to relive a lot of my past. And a lot of my past, was fun. It was great, and I wouldn't give up my childhood memories for anything because, I had a great childhood, I had a great family, and stuff. But, there's areas when people read the book I better understand what I'm talking about. But there was parts that was just really hard for me to write about. And so it really took its toll on me emotionally. And of course, it's what happened is I wound up seeing a psychiatrist. and been put on medications and stuff. So, it just it had a real hard effect on me to write the book. Now, since it's been published and I've been doing some public speaking and going to some events, I see a better road and a brighter future because I feel like I'm getting really close to coming off of a lot of medications and stuff like that, and I'm starting to pull out of all that now. So, it's really been a roller coaster ride emotionally for me, but at the same time, I can see where it's in the end going to be a blessing for me and a big help for me personally, when by getting me back out into the public and living my life as I should.
Exactly. Well, I have a question for Bobby.
Okay, here she is.
Okay.
Me again.
Sure, yeah. Hey, Bobby, let me ask you, has your relationship to Alana changed since her transformation? Has anything changed in your own relationship?
Yes, of course. Again, because we only see through our own perspective, and because what I had seen and perceived before was this masculine energy, that masculine energy no longer exists because I'm aware of the feminine energy. And so we've gone from being in a relationship, a strong male-female relationship, to seeing this feminine energy. So because I don't identify as lesbian and know absolutely nothing basically about the GLBT world, it's hard for me to consider myself as a lesbian. So when I think of being in love with Alana, I talk about being in love with this person. I love this person. I love this energy. I love touching this body and feeling the strength and the energy that's there. So my relationship has gone from seeing this masculine to just enjoying the person. And of course now we're all married folks. And that of course has happened once I was aware and the transition had already began and everything. So, I went into this knowing that I was marrying a woman, and I would have thoughts. Oh my God, what's it going to be like when I'm married to a woman? And I'd kind of get the hesitation feeling, and then I just have to think, you know what? I'm married to this person. It's when we try to fit the things in the box, and when we try to label me as anything or Alana as anything or anybody as anything, that's when we start having the difficulties, if we just leave that part alone.
I think it's a big lesson that we should stop looking at gender and look at people as genderless or as spirit beings. And when you love something that's genderless, you don't have to feel like you have to place that person in a box, and you can just speak. And I'm speaking for experience that once I stopped just being so hyper-masculine and allowing myself to be feminine as well, then I feel a lot more complete. There's a question in the chat room here for Alana.
Okay, let me just pull back to her. Another question.
Hey.
Okay. Did you find yourself having to re-experience adolescence and have to relearn life's lesson?
No, I didn't. I'm just kind of. I don't know how to explain myself, but I've always, from the time that I realized, of course, I hid for years, but. I always had the feeling of what I was deep inside of me and everything. And when I come out and started the hormones, I guess in a way I may have a little bit because I'd kind of dressed at first like a lot of people do, too young for my age. Because we did miss our teenage years and getting to wear the sexy stuff. And so sometimes we'll tend to experiment with that when we first come out, and I did that.
Yeah.
And everything. So I guess in a way, I was wrong. I guess I did kind of experience that because I did, want the mini skirts, the sexy high heels, and club wear, and I'm 51. I still do it from time to time. If it makes you feel good, do it.
Exactly.
You know.
Well, that's. I mean, I can definitely. What's that word I'm looking for? I can definitely relate to that question because yes, I do feel like I have gone through myself personally. I felt like I have gone through puberty a second time.
We all do.
Which I think we all do, sort of in a way.
And trans men get those hits when they take the testosterone. So yeah, we all go through that second puberty. Okay, this question is for both of you. I know you both are working hard to create awareness of the transgender community. What are some of the events you have attended, and how has the reception been?
Okay, I'll tell you what, I'll go ahead and do a bit of this. And the events we've attended, of course, the first book signing was at the Pride Festival in Lexington, Kentucky. So, of course, that being a GLBT event, that was it was spooky because it was, I was just getting back out in the public, But as far as being out as a transgendered female, it wasn't all that because it was GLBT. My deal was learn how to handle the crowd, and not let my emotions get away or let the anxiety and stuff get out of hand. And of course, the next one, of course, was at Half Price Books. We done a book signing there, which was mainstream bookstore. So that one was really spooky because I knew this was not GLBT related. There's going to be a lot of people coming in and out, looking over the table, wondering what's going on, who's this person. So that was a little nerve-wracking. And I'm going to turn it over and let Bobby tell you about the next one.
Okay, the reason I want to talk about the Southern Comfort Conference that we attended is because that is a conference for trans persons. And so I didn't even know I was a GG or a genetic girl or a cis woman until we went there and stuff. So I was kind of the one on in the minority there. And we met some absolutely phenomenal people there. As a matter of fact, Frock Magazine picked up a article that I wrote that I entitled A GG at SCC that talks about my perspective of what I saw there and what went on. Well, I'm an administrative assistant, or was, with the with Kentucky Department of Education, and had to go to a lot of conferences and stuff. And I was sitting there watching the women walk around at Southern Comfort, and I thought, man, this is just like deja vu. It's just because in the Department of Education, most of the people attending the conferences are female teachers. It's just like watching those teachers walk around, women doing the things that interest them, and at the vendors' tables that interest them, and going to the meetings that interest them. So I learned that even though the Southern Comfort Conference was geared toward the trans community, it's just like anything else. It was the same. It didn't mean that it was something different. So, and do you want me to go on with some of the other stuff that's coming up, honey?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. One of the things one of the first speaking at the classes was at the local vocational schools. It's called BCTC schools. In Carol Whipple's class, there were 2 classes that day that Alana spoke to. And then everybody is aware of the University of Kentucky and how big they are, go Wildcats. But Alana got to speak at the Gender and Women's Studies class at the University of Kentucky, and Patricia Cooper is the professor for that class. And I was smart enough to remember to take my video camera with me that day. So I did video that, and that can be found at hunginthemiddle.com. And there's some phenomenal questions that the students asked that Alana answered. And one of my favorite questions on there that one of the students asked was talking about how Alana wanted to be seen as a trans person and immediately, it's almost like Spirit speaks to Alana sometimes, and her response was, I don't care how people see me. They have to see me first as a human. And I just thought that was a wonderful answer to that particular question. And then, let's see, the Kentucky, we had Alana was the only transgender author who was invited to attend the Kentucky Book Fair this year, and that was phenomenal. And while we were there, Joseph Beth Booksellers came over and asked us to fill out some forms and told us to where to go online and get them. Well, I kept being busy and forgot to do it. They hunted us down. The representative from the bookstore got in touch with us about 2 weeks ago, I guess it was, and sent us the forms and said, we've had so many calls for your book since the Kentucky Book Fair that we definitely want you in our store. So that should be out in there soon. And let's see. One of the ladies who lives here in town works, she's on the board of I have to think about it, the Kentucky Society of Social Clinical Workers. And she has asked Alana to come and speak in April to their book club. And she did a review at Amazon.com, and the very first line says something to the effect that she recommends that every social worker who has a client that is in the GLBT community read this book in order to be able to help them better serve their clients. Let's see, is there anything else? Here, Alana's reaching for the phone.
No, I think that about wraps up our events at the moment.
Well, you two are some busy bodies here coming up. I can tell. But I have one more question for the both of you. Now that there are two ladies in the household, what are the most challenging things about it, and what are the most rewarding?
I guess that's hard. That's hard. That could either get me praised or smacked upside the head. I don't know. It all depends on how the words come out of my mouth. It's been really easy for us. I mean, I don't think either one of us play a special he or she role or hero or anything like that. It's not looked at in terms of he, she, or she, or anything like that. We both have our functions, and Bobby has a part-time job she goes to, and I make a poor attempt at keeping house, and promoting the book from the house and whatnot. But we just I think jump into the rewarding part is our ability to communicate. And we just we communicate really well and everything. And I mean, we have our moments, like any couple, where we'll have a little breakdown in communication or fail to understand one another. But it's just we just kind of go with the flow of things around here, and there's really no real role, I think, that either one of us takes on. And Bobby's got something she'd like to say about it.
We've got exactly less than 90 seconds left of the show before the show's no longer live.
Worth 90 seconds. Okay, the only thing that I was going to say is with two ladies in the house, the only thing that bothers me is that Alana looks so much better in lingerie than I do. That she can wear clothes, you look so much better.
So I guess the challenging thing is that you guys share each other's clothes.
Well, I can't wear her skinny clothes. She can put on my tops and things like that because they're loose, but she's tall and thin, and it totally pisses me off. But that's definitely the woman thing,
That's all about love, and it's all about understanding. And
absolutely,
I'm very grateful that you both were able to be on the show and share your story. That's what a Transition Radio show is all about, letting your voices be heard. Thank you, and now we want to end the show with one of Alana's songs. Not only is she an author, but she also plays the guitar and writes music, and the song is entitled, I Wish the World Could See Me. This Kentucky girl can sure hold her own. Thank you, guys. We're no longer live, we're on recording, but I want to end the show with a song, and again, the song is I Wish the World Could See. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Love you, but remember to love yourselves too. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I wish that the world could see I'm no different from the rest. My life is what was given me. My life has been so blessed. Some may see me as different. Some may put me down. But I know I am a child of God, or I wouldn't be around. We were born into this world, our task was preordained. We all knew the path we walked before we ever came. Some would fight for freedom, some would fight for change. Some would run, some would hide, and some would choose to blame. I wish that the world could see I'm no different from the rest. My life is what was given me. My life has been so blessed. Some may see me as different. Some may put me down. But I know I am a child of God, or I wouldn't be around. The true age that we're living in is full of constant change. Soon we'll find no need to fight nor seek someone to blame. The universe is teaching us that we are all the same. We all have a faith to God, we just use a different name. I wish that the world could see you're no different from the rest. Life is what was given you.